There are moments in life when patience turns into a powerful weapon. That's exactly what happened that summer in Beverly Hills when I decided to teach my neighbor Karen an unforgettable lesson. The day she got stuck in the cement of my pool went viral and completely changed our lives. Everything started when I finally achieved my dream of buying a house in one of the most exclusive gated communities in town. At 32, my tech company finally took off, allowing me to carve out my space in this privileged spot. Little did I know, my arrival would spark the fury of a digital influencer who thought of herself as the neighborhood queen. What was meant to be a moment of celebration turned into a daily battle for territory and respect. This is the story of how I turned the neighborhood's biggest nightmare into a revenge worthy of millions of views. Subscribe to the channel and hit like to get access to more stories like this. The first sign of trouble came during my housewarming party. While my friends and business partners celebrated around the pool, I noticed a roughly 45-year-old woman filming everything over the wall. It was Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of the condo, doing a live stream for her 500K followers. The next day, I found out she had posted a video criticizing the inappropriate party of the new resident. According to her, people my age weren't mature enough to live in such a refined place. I tried to ignore it, but her prejudiced comments kept popping up on her social media. Karen started creating conspiracy theories about how I managed to buy the house. In her daily lives, she insinuated that my money came from dubious sources, completely ignoring the success of my tech company. James, my business partner, suggested suing her for defamation, but I still believed common sense would prevail. Things got worse when she started appearing casually during my business meetings in the garden. She would stroll by with her phone, making nasty remarks about my business partners and questioning the legitimacy of my professional activities. In less than a month, she had already created a hashtag dedicated to exposing my presence in the condo. Her followers began speculating about my personal life, spreading rumors, and even showing up in front of my house to take pictures. What was supposed to be my sanctuary was turning into a reality show without my consent. As the situation became unbearable, Karen ramped up her actions. During a quiet afternoon of working from home, she simply strolled into my backyard to record one of her investigative tours. When I confronted her, she feigned surprise and said the low walls were an invitation to check out the space. The intrusions became frequent. She showed up at the worst possible moments, always phone in hand, live streaming for her followers. Once, during an important video conference with investors, Karen appeared dancing by the edge of my pool, clearly trying to provoke me. The last straw was when she started calling the police. Her reports were absurd. Non-existent parties, drug trafficking, and suspicious rendezvous. Officer Johnson, a veteran on the force, would roll his eyes whenever he got a call from my address. "Sorry, Mr. William, just following protocol," he would say, while Karen filmed everything from her backyard, narrating as if she were an investigative reporter. My business began to suffer. Some business partners hesitated to visit my house after Karen approached them at the condo entrance, asking inconvenient questions and recording their reactions. James even suggested we move our office to another location. I installed security cameras and a taller fence, but Karen found new ways to bother me. She started using a drone to fly over my property, claiming she was only testing her new photography equipment. I consulted 3 lawyers specializing in cyberbullying. They all said I had a strong case against her, but the lawsuits could drag on for years. Besides, Karen seemed to thrive on negative attention. Every legal move I considered turned into content for her social media. I tried to talk to the condo management, but they merely sent warnings that she completely ignored. Other neighbors, intimidated by her online influence, avoided getting involved. That's when I realized I'd need to handle the situation differently, by using Karen's own weapons against her. The idea came when I noticed that Karen was more interested in creating content than actually harming me. She needed material to feed her followers daily, and I had become her favorite subject. I decided to use that obsession to my advantage. For a week, I meticulously studied her routine. Karen always did lives on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons when the sun produced what she called the perfect lighting for her recordings. I also noticed that she got especially provocative when I showed irritation over her intrusions. I started planning every detail. First, I hired a specialist to install strategically positioned cameras around the pool, all with different angles and live stream capabilities. I had to make sure every moment was perfectly captured. Next, I researched different types of quick-dry cement. I found one that hardened in less than an hour, perfect for my plan. I bought enough and stored it discreetly in the garage, along with a powerful water pump to drain the pool quickly. When I told James about my plan, he initially thought it was risky. "Are you sure? She could sue you," he warned. But after consulting a lawyer specialized in private property, we confirmed I had the right to modify my pool however I wanted, especially if someone was intruding on my property without permission. To make things even more interesting, I began acting more hospitable toward Karen. When she showed up at the wall, instead of complaining, I would simply wave and smile. This visibly confused her and encouraged her to be even bolder with her intrusions. I also installed an ambient sound system around the pool, which allowed me to communicate with anyone in the outdoor area without having to leave the house. Everything was set up to look like one of Karen's normal live streams, but it was about to turn into something much more memorable. The plan had to be executed perfectly. I programmed the water pump to be triggered remotely and strategically placed bags of cement in hidden spots. I even created a small script for what I would say over the sound system, making sure each word contributed to the dramatic effect I wanted to achieve. In the days before, I deliberately left some attractive objects near the pool: a pricey camera, some documents that looked important but were just blank paper, and a briefcase that Karen would certainly consider suspicious. It was the perfect bait for her next investigation. Officer Johnson, who was already tired of Karen's false alarms, was discreetly informed about my plan, not to intervene, but to understand that any call from her on that specific day would not require an immediate response. The final part of the preparation was creating an anonymous profile on various social networks, ready to share the video of the incident as soon as it happened. I wanted to make sure the story spread quickly before Karen could control the narrative. Everything was ready. Now, it was just a matter of waiting for the perfect moment. A sunny Tuesday when Karen would definitely not resist doing another live intrusion of my property. The day came much faster than expected. It was a perfect Tuesday, with the sun just the way Karen liked it. I made the suspicious objects even more visible near the pool and waited in my office, monitoring all the cameras. As predicted, at 2:37 p.m., Karen appeared at the wall. First, she spent a few minutes filming from a distance, narrating for her followers how suspicious my house looked that day. When she noticed the strategically placed objects, her eyes lit up. It was the opportunity she'd been waiting for. "Guys, you won't believe what I'm seeing," she whispered into her phone. "I'm going to check it out closer." Without hesitation, Karen jumped over the wall as she had done dozens of times before. I stifled my excitement as I watched her approach the pool. She began her usual performance, wandering around the outdoor area and making absurd speculations about my life. "Look at these folders. I bet those are illegal documents." As she spoke, she edged closer and closer to the pool's edge. The crucial moment came when she decided to do something even bolder. "Guys, I'm going to show you the water in this pool. Something tells me he's hiding something in here." Karen then sat at the edge and dipped her feet in the water, still streaming live. That was my cue. I activated the ambient sound system. "Good afternoon, Karen. Enjoying my pool?" She froze for a second, then quickly recovered her investigative stance. "Oh, William, you were just showing my followers how you maintain this area. Make yourself at home," I replied over the sound system. "Since you seem to love my pool so much, I prepared a special surprise." At that moment, I discreetly activated the drain pump. The water began lowering so slowly that Karen didn't even notice at first. She continued her stream, trying to keep control of the situation. "Look, he's trying to intimidate me, but he won't succeed. I have 500K followers watching live." Little did she know that number was quickly increasing as people started sharing her live stream. When she finally noticed the water level dropping, it was too late. "Wait, what's happening?" The panic in her voice was unmistakable. That's when I started adding the cement. "Like you always say in your videos, Karen, content is everything." The cement began mixing with the remaining water, creating a paste that thickened by the minute. Karen tried to stand up, but her feet were already partially trapped. Her live stream now had over 50K simultaneous viewers. "This is outrageous! You can't do this!" she shouted, still clutching her phone, unable to disconnect from her precious live stream. "Actually, Karen, I can. I'm just remodeling my pool. If you hadn't been invading my property, you wouldn't be in this mess." The comments on her live stream exploded. Instant karma. The neighborhood queen finally met her king. Best revenge ever. The plan was working just as planned, and the best part was that it was all being documented by Karen herself. The chaos that followed was spectacular. Karen, still stuck in the cement mixture that was quickly hardening, alternated between legal threats and desperate pleas. Her followers watched, mesmerized, as she faced the consequences of her own actions. "My lawyers are going to take you down," she screamed, still streaming live. "Wait, can someone call for help?" The irony was palpable. For the first time, she genuinely needed her followers for something more than likes and comments. Neighbors began to appear, drawn by all the commotion. Some were filming with their phones, while others simply watched in disbelief. Mr. Thompson, the neighbor from across the way who always avoided confrontations with Karen, couldn't help but laugh. Through the sound system, I kept my calm voice. "Karen, you've invaded my property 47 times in the past few months. I have everything documented. Today you decided to do this during a pool renovation. Unfortunately, accidents happen." The situation escalated further when a van from a local news station arrived. Emily Chen, a 25-year-old rookie reporter, had received an anonymous tip about a viral incident unfolding live. Her look of surprise at the scene was priceless. "We're live at the scene where a digital influencer is, literally cemented in a peculiar situation," Emily reported, clearly trying to maintain professionalism while holding back laughter. The comments on Karen's livestream now passed 100K. Hashtags like "cemented Karen" and "perfect revenge" began blowing up on Twitter. Memes were created in real time, with people editing the video and adding dramatic music. Officer Johnson appeared, more out of protocol than necessity. "Ma'am, you're invading private property. Again," he declared while checking his notes with a bored expression. "This is already the 48th recorded occurrence." Realizing her digital reputation was crumbling in real time, Karen finally began to show remorse. "Okay, William, you win. Help me get out of here and we can forget all this." But it was too late. The cement was nearly dry. I called the firefighters, of course. I didn't want any real trouble with Karen, just a memorable lesson. While waiting for the rescue, I maintained the broadcast through the sound system. "You know, Karen, there's a saying about people who live in glass houses, or in this case, people who live stream their invasions of other people's property." The rescue team arrived in 15 minutes, but it took almost an hour to free Karen from the partially hardened cement. The entire process was streamed live, not only by Karen, who refused to end her live stream, but also by a local TV station and dozens of neighbors. When she finally got out, Karen was unrecognizable. Her perfectly arranged hair was stained with gray, her carefully chosen outfit for the live broadcast was ruined, and her dignity, well, that had long since dissolved into the cement. "This isn't over," she muttered as she was led out of my property, still clutching her phone as if it were an extension of her body. But everyone there knew it was over. The neighborhood queen had lost her crown in a live broadcast for the whole world to see. The 24 hours following the incident were surreal. Karen's live video went viral on every platform possible. Memes, remixes, and parodies spread like wildfire. A famous DJ even created a song using her screams as a sample. Media coverage was massive. Emily Chen, the rookie reporter who covered the incident, gained national attention with her report. "Digital influencer gets a concrete end to her invasions," was the headline that propelled her to bigger networks. I received hundreds of messages from people who had suffered from invasive neighbors. My inbox was flooded with compliments for my creative form of revenge. A Hollywood producer even contacted me about securing the rights to the story. Karen, on the other hand, desperately tried to control the damage. She posted a 47-minute video crying, claiming she was the victim of a cruel trap. But even her own followers didn't buy the story. The comments were merciless. "Karma in 4K, the biggest influencer of cement. From BBB to CBC, Big Brother Beverly." The brands that sponsored her started distancing themselves. First, the cosmetics company canceled its partnership. Then the gym clothes brand, and finally even the local beauty salon asked her to remove the recommendations from her posts. Her social media numbers plummeted. In 48 hours, she lost 200K followers. Those who remained were more interested in watching her downfall than her usual content about luxury lifestyles and neighborhood investigations. James, my business partner, was especially pleased. "You turned lemons into lemonade," he said, showing how our company's actions skyrocketed after the story went viral. Apparently, the public loved an entrepreneur who solved problems creatively. The condo management, who had previously ignored the complaints about Karen, were now in a panic over the negative exposure. They called an emergency meeting to discuss community rules and the use of social media within the condo. Other neighbors, finally free from the fear of digital retaliation, began sharing their own stories about Karen. Mr. Thompson revealed that she had spread rumors about his marriage. The family in Unit 47 talked about her false noise complaints. It was as if a dam of frustrations had burst. Meanwhile, my pool now needed real repairs. I decided to turn that into something positive as well. I hired a company to remove the cement and completely renovate the area. The new design would include a discreet plaque that read, "Respect boundaries. Results can be solid." The story gained even more traction when digital marketing experts began using the case as an example in lectures about how not to manage your online presence. Karen inadvertently became a case study on how an obsessive quest for content can backfire. A week after the incident, I received a subpoena. Karen was suing me for moral, physical, and professional damages. But along with the subpoena came a flood of offers from law firms wanting to defend me for free. Everyone wanted to be a part of what was already being called the case of the influencer cement. The lawsuit filed by Karen was as disastrous as her last live stream. At the first hearing, my lawyer presented a chronological compilation of all her intrusions, including the 47 incidents recorded by Officer Johnson and the countless false reports. The judge, a middle-aged man who could barely hide his amusement at the case, got straight to the point. "Ma'am, you're suing someone for facing the consequences of repeatedly invading private property?" A video of this remark also went viral. Karen tried to argue that she was an investigative influencer, exercising her right to inform her followers. Her lawyer looked embarrassed as she insisted that the cement was a premeditated trap. The judge simply replied, "And were you really obliged to sit on the edge of a pool during renovations?" The lawsuit was dismissed in record time. Karen even tried to appeal, but each new attempt only worsened her situation. Her last sponsors abandoned her when she started doing live streams crying in front of the courthouse, claiming persecution. Her fall was steep. From 500K followers, she was left with only 50K, mostly people who were now more interested in watching her mishaps than her usual luxury lifestyle content. Her posts about luxury living were replaced by bitter complaints about the injustice of the system. The final blow came when it was discovered that her own lawsuit had become a meme. Law firms used the case in their advertisements, with slogans like, "Don't let your clients sink in the cement of bad decisions," and "Experts in property law," and "An instant karma." Karen, who had always prided herself on her neighborhood influence, could hardly leave her house anymore without being recognized as the cement influencer. Her attempts to turn the situation into a story of triumph failed miserably. No one was interested in her comeback tour. Subscribe to the channel and hit like to get access to more stories like this.